Shalom Aleichem and welcome to online Smicha. Today we'll discuss a halacha on this week's Parsha, Parshas Vayeshev. After Yaakov becomes aware of the loss of his son Yosef, he takes it very much to heart. Vayis'abal b'noi yamim rabim. He mourns on his son many days. And his family, the rest of the family, sees how hard he took it. Explains the Chaim HaKadosh, therefore they all came together as one large family. Kol banav, v'chol benosav, all his sons and all his daughters came together, and they showed Yaakov some support, Nachman, but at the same time their intention was to show Yaakov, Yosef is not your only son, he's not a ben Yochid, you're taking it too hard. Well, but Kol banav, we know that there was the rest of the sons. Who are these Chol benosav, all his daughters? Rashi's bothered by this question too. And Rashi brings from the Medrash, and the Medrash has two opinions, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. Rabbi Yehuda says, Achiyos tu'umeis noidlu in kol shevet v'shevet. Every shevet was born with a twin sister, v'nosum, and each shevet married his twin sister. Rabbi Nechemia obviously has an issue with that, because we know that even a ben noyach is not allowed to marry his twin sister, not necessarily his twin sister, his sister, Minaim. And over Nechemia suggests a different answer, that these women were not daughters. They were Canaanios. Why is the pasuk referred to them as Benoisav, his daughters? Because Ein Adam Nimna Melikra Lechasnai Benoi Ulekaloise Bitei. A person, it's the nature of the world that some people refer to their son-in-law, my dear son, and to the daughter-in-law, daughter. As the Ramban brings a raya from Naomi, the conversation we see from Naomi and Ruth, that Naomi refers to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, Biti, my daughter. Obviously, both of these opinions, Rabbi Yehuda and Nechemia, have shredder shilas. And the Yehuda's opinion that they married a twin sister is an obvious question. As we mentioned before, Kimo Kolater Kula Achle Nitna. And we know that it's a problem. How were the Shvatim able to marry their sister? And this question is asked by the Das Kein Mibali HaTosfos, and we are all well aware of the Rebbe's famous Sicha on Parshas Vayeshev, how Yaakov was able to marry two sisters, and the Rebbe has a beautiful chiddush there. So the Das Kein Mibali HaTosfos says over here that the Shvatim not necessarily were Mekayim Kol HaTorah Kula, but they knew Baruch HaKodesh what eventually will become mutter and what will be asur. But Masha Yuroitzim Hoyu Mekayimim, Masha Yuroitzim Hoyu Menichim. They picked and choose. Whatever they felt they want to fulfill, they did. And what they felt, what they don't want to do for whatever reason, they left. Rabbi Nechemia, who says that they were Canaanites, is also hard to understand, because we see that Avram and Yitzchak were very specific to their children about the shidduchim from the kids, and said, please do not marry benois Canaanios, from the girls of Canaan. Why would over here, why would this be Canaanios why would the Shvatim feel free to marry Canaanios? So, as some Mefarshim try to say, later on we find that Canaanios is not necessarily from the country of Canaan, rather Canaanios is a lashon for a businessman, from Seichrim. Or as the Ramban and a couple psukim later says, that they weren't Jews. They originally came from Canaanites, but the Ramban is mechalish. Maybe they were Nizgayer, and they became part of the Jewish people up to the level as it was back then, and that's why it was permitted. The Yefei Torah and the Medrash says that you're right. It is a problem to marry your sister, even for a ben noyach, but this was done al pi Tzivur HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because they couldn't marry, they couldn't go in Chutz La'aretz, they couldn't go Eivah Yarden, so Eibishter permitted them to marry the Canaanites. That's what it says in Yefei Torah. But we just mentioned that a person calls his son, his son-in-law, his son, and his daughter-in-law daughter, it is also brought la halacha. Brought la halacha in the simple din of Shulchan Aruch, in Hilchos Kibud Avayim, it says, we learn out from David HaMelech, that David HaMelech referred to his shver, to his father-in-law, Avi, my father, So if there is a chiyuv and kibbut of aim to show honor and respect to your father, in an extension, it will also apply to anybody who you refer to as your father, and therefore in Shulchan Aruch it's gepaskin that a person has to show honor and respect to Chambiv, to his father-in-law, his shvera. And the Shach and the Taz bring that the same will apply for a person's mother-in-law. Possibly it's only with the Rabbanan. So we see the relationship between a father-in-law, mother-in-law, and their in-laws. Another conversation, another Shach V'Tayah we find in halacha. We know that there's Yerusha B'Keser HaTorah, that if someone has a position as a Rav, or a position, any high position in authority, so if he retires or he passes away, there's inheritance goes over to his son. The question will be, does that apply to his daughter, to his son-in-law? And that's actually a machlekes in the Shayos of Tshuvas Svarim. If the Yerusha B'Keser HaTorah goes on also to his son-in-law because of this klal, that a person refers to his son-in-law k'bnai or not, and that is a long and a big Shach V'Tayah. Yeshakayach for joining us. Please join us next week in next week's Parsha. Thank you.